Hi Bruce, Oceana here with G3 Agency. This is your free website audit for All American Concrete Rain Gutters and Patios in San Antonio, Texas. Um, I'm not expecting anything in return for this video, although I would love some feedback from you after you've watched it, just to let me know if I did a good job, if I did a good job of explaining things, if I was clear, if I spoke well, etc. I would love some feedback from you, and I really hope that you find this useful. Of course, if you do want help with all of this stuff, my team does handle those kinds of things. So, of course, if you're interested, we can have a chat and see if a partnership makes sense moving forward. But this information is yours to keep, and I hope that you make good use of it. Anyways, let's get into it. So the first thing that I always look for when I do audit a website is a big click to call phone number at the top, which you've got. So hurrah! That's actually quite rare. So you're already ahead of the curve. Then the next thing is content. How many words are on the page, and do they talk about what you do, who you do it for, how you do it, where you do it? You do a pretty good job as far as I can tell. You talk about the area that you're in. So you're off to a really good start. I would say that you want to probably double, triple, even quadruple the amount of words that are on this page. And then also, I'm guessing, usually it's true, you need to add more words to the other pages as well. The reason for this is that Google loves content, basically wants there to be lots of information on that site and about what you do and all that kind of stuff. Google loves words. It's how it gets its information. And so you just want to play along with its game. You want to make sure to include lots of words that people are actually going to use when they're looking for your services and when they're in the San Antonio area. So I'll show you how I find those words and how I know that they're being searched. And I'll also just give you a few that you might be interested in using on your site, and you'll see why. So, but the next thing I want to do is oh, wait, hold on. I didn't show you the cool thing about images. So if I right click on an image and click Save Image As, I can see that this was saved as front page 7. So this is actually another place where we can include those key phrases that people are actually typing into Google when they're looking for concrete in the San Antonio area. So what you'd want to do is actually save all these images again and then re-upload them with those new key phrases as what they're saved as. Now we can get into my favorite tool. This is called Ahrefs. And basically this tells me how a website's doing, how it is actually performing versus, how pretty it is. Because it's one thing for a website to look nice. Yours looks great, but I can tell here it's not doing its job. So your UR score is very important. It's basically how trustworthy Google thinks that this web page is. And in this case, it is your home page. And it's got this weird thing at the end. I don't know if that's a tracking number or what, but it shouldn't affect these numbers at all. And then your DR score is the same thing, but for your entire website, not just that one page. And these are very low scores. They're extremely low. How you would increase them, and you're going to want to do that because basically this is saying that Google doesn't trust you, doesn't think that you have very much quality content, and doesn't think that you're very popular with the other websites. You wouldn't think it, but Google is a popularity contest. And so how you increase your popularity is with backlinks and referring domains. So a backlink is any link that goes from another website back to yours, or a referring domain is any website that has at least one of those, over here, at least one of those at least one of those links from their website back to yours. And I can actually click on this and find out which ones you're getting. And these are actually very good. As far as I can tell, first glance, first impressions, these are pretty good. Their DR scores, which remember this is their trustworthiness of their whole website, is actually quite high. Anything above 30 for a website like yours is going to have pretty good pull. And if these are also relevant to you in some way, if there can be a logical conclusion brought, as to how these two websites are connected, how yours is connected to their site, whether it's a website that's also in the same kind of field as you are, or it's another website to a business in the same area or something logical, then these are great. And if not, then they're kind of semi okay. You definitely want them to be relevant if possible. And then I wanted to show you your Google My Business. So I looked you up here, and it looks like you may have 3 Google My Businesses, or maybe even more than that. And that's fine. But there are some things that you want to be careful of. You want to make sure that they don't overlap if you do have several of them. You don't want to have them overlapping, say like right here, where this one is, showing that it can serve all the way out to here. Then this one's showing it can serve all the way out to here, because this area where it overlaps here is gonna cause kind of Google to notice that you have 2, and they're gonna maybe shut you down for that, and they could shut down all of your GMBs. So you want to be careful about that, but it's not a terrible idea to have several of them. I would just be careful and make sure that if you are sending them to your website. No, it looks like this one's not you actually. San Antonio Concrete Services.com. I would make sure that they're going. Very interesting. So I think these guys aren't even yours. This is just you right here. So in order to make sure that you're showing up in the Google the Google Maps section of Google, which is up here when someone types in stamped concrete San Antonio, for example. In order to make sure that you're showing up here in the map section, you want to make sure your Google My Business is up to date and accurate, and then you want to make sure to include that information, specifically your name, address, and phone number, all over the internet on different directories. So for instance, Yelp, Yext, City Star, White Pages, Yellow Pages. There are several. There are thousands of different places where you can include your information as a citation, and that basically proves to Google that you really do serve that area, and that will help increase your credibility with them and help you to show up here, which is fantastic for showing up in front of your potential customers, because if somebody's typing in stamped concrete San Antonio, you know that you can deliver the goods. And so you want to make sure that you show up in front of them. This is the one that is currently sitting in that spot. And so I can actually go in here and go, so what is it that they're doing right? Why is it that they're showing up on that first page but we're not? And then what can we do better than them so that we also show up not only on the page with them, but maybe ahead of them, right? So let's check out the amount of words they have. Are they relevant words? And it looks like they do a decent job of talking about what they do, where they do it, etc. Concrete contractors in San Antonio, for example. Here's a link. So that is pretty good. And then we can right click on an image and see if they're taking advantage of that. And they are taking advantage of saving their images as keywords. So we're also going to want to do that. So which keywords should we save our images as? Well, I used Ahrefs and I used the Keyword Explorer. I put in San Antonio, and then I cross-referenced that with concrete, gutter, gutters, patio, and patios, just as sort of a sampler platter. And there wasn't a whole lot that came up. However, there was enough for me to be a little excited. Oh wait, hold on now. Okay, yeah, now we're getting somewhere. All right, so Los Patios is, I think that's like a restaurant or something, I'm not sure. But Gutters San Antonio is probably not a restaurant. And it's got some good metrics here, so I'll explain it. So a good keyword has 4 elements. It has something that you do, somewhere that you do it, high volume, and low KD. And I'll explain each of those. So something that you do and somewhere that you do it, obviously, is just to narrow down who it is that's looking for what. So if somebody types in gutters San Antonio, obviously there's somebody that's interested in some kind of gutters situation, like whether they're looking for the service or they're looking for the product, but they're way likely to be looking for what you're offering, and they're definitely going to be in the San Antonio area. So that's why we like that. And then volume is how many people each month are typing that exact phrase into Google. So that's not gutter San Antonio, it's gutters with an S at the end. And Google sees that as two different things. So this is just this one exact spelling. 800 people are searching for it each month, and it's got a keyword difficulty, or KD, of 9. So that's out of 100, and it's basically saying, like, out of 100, how difficult does this tool Ahrefs think it would be to get to the first page of Google? Now you would think 9 out of 100 is like extremely low, and it is fairly low, but we really like to go after the ones that are kind of the easier wins, because every time that you go up a notch from 0, it's just going to take a bit longer to get in front of the people that are looking for your services. So it's going to take longer to see that result and that return on investment. But if I go up here to this and I click on make the KD max 0, that's how I came across this this one here, Stamped Concrete San Antonio. So that one's pretty cool because it's got 150 people searching for it each month. And there's no way you could handle all 150 jobs, right, every month. That would be insane. So there's definitely plenty to be found there. And not all of these people are going to be serious about buying right away anyway, but if you're sitting up at the top for Stamped Concrete San Antonio, you could expect to be getting a few jobs from that each month, right? And that would be pretty much worth it. And so what we want to do is, so we've compared you to them and how they're doing their content and how they're saving their images. You're going to want to copy them and then just do a bit better. And you'll notice this website doesn't look quite as good as yours does. But Google doesn't really care how a website looks. It cares about the content. So just keep that in mind. And then over here, we put them into Ahrefs, and we can see their scores here. So remember, your scores looked like, oh, hold on. Sorry about this. So your scores were 1 and 0.1, and backlinks were 10 and 5. This is where they're definitely jumping ahead of you. But they're still not, like, they're not extremely difficult to beat out. Their scores are much higher than yours, but these are not extremely high scores in the industry. And so this wouldn't be terribly difficult to get ahead on anyways. And then, you want to make sure to get referring domains and backlinks that are relevant and high scoring. And then another fun thing we can do is actually go in here to organic keywords and see what they're showing up for, and see if we want to show up for any of those too. It's another fun way to look for keywords. Like Concrete San Antonio, it's 300 people looking for it each month. It's got a keyword difficulty of 11, which is a little bit higher than I like to go after for beginners. But I mean, if you want to go after it, go for it. It's just, it's gonna take more time and more effort to rank at the top of the Google results for that keyword. But it is a good one because it does have something that you do and something and somewhere that you do it. Those are very important. Anyways, that's it for me. I really hope that you got a lot out of this, Bruce. And I hope that you saw my expertise, right? So you know who to call if you ever need help with any of this stuff. I would love some feedback from you, whether or not you decide to go through with using any of this information. I would just love to know if you do or if you don't plan to use it, and why, and just sort of chat with you about your business and your goals. I would just absolutely love that. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.